Good morning, Minnesota DFLers, and welcome to the DFL Daily. Richard Carbaum here, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. We're here every day at 10:45 to make sure that we're giving you the message, the action, and the tools to be empowered in this moment. Before we get into today, I want to say a huge thank you to the Southwest Metro Carver County Democrats who organized a fantastic gun violence prevention and public safety town hall last evening. Doug Chapin, our candidate for Congress, was the moderator of a fantastic panel that included our Senate candidate from the Eden Prairie area, Dr. Krish, and then we had others. Tests from Annunciation was there, and it was just a great event overall, and I really appreciate everybody who spent their time. Dr. Dan Kessler was also on the panel as well, who's running against Julia Coleman in the Chaska-Chanhassen area. So thank you for organizing that very important conversation in community. I also want to shout out on Thursday evening, there's a event in Southwest Minneapolis, a fundraiser for Jake Johnson, who's running for Congress in Southern Minnesota. Jake is a fantastic candidate and deserves our support. So a bunch of folks in the Minneapolis area decided to throw him a fundraiser. It'll be Thursday evening. We'll drop a link in the chat so that you can RSVP and join us. This race is one of the best opportunities to flip congressional seat from red to blue in Minnesota. We have 4 great opportunities to do that. The 1st and the 6th and the 8th and the 7th. We have a great opportunity to support this. With your help, we can flip these seats, and it'll be a nationwide story when it does happen. This event, again, is Thursday at 5 p.m., and we're dropping the RSVP link in the chat right now. All right, let's take a look at more events coming up this week. Don't miss dinner at Mucho Loco in Elk River. Join DFL House candidate Keenan Gentry for a meal and some good conversation starting at 6 p.m. Tomorrow, Wednesday, May 20th, there are great opportunities to get involved. In the morning, there's the Common Good Coffee Club that meets in the city of Isanti at 10 a.m. That afternoon, head to Chatfield for the Rural Rally for Democracy at 5 p.m. And then in the evening, ST57 is hosting a volunteer extravaganza in Lakeville at 7 p.m. All opportunities for you to plug in and make sure that you're connecting with the work good Democrats are doing throughout the state. You can get all the information at dfl.org/events. All right, let's get into the topic. What happened in the Minnesota Senate this session is a story that deserves to be told. It's a story about courage, about showing up, and about what it looks like when Democrats govern. Let's start with the reality Minnesotans have been living with. School shootings, community vigils, families begging their elected officials to do something. The families of Annunciation advocating tirelessly for change, parents who've buried children, survivors who carry the weight of trauma every single day. And for too long, solutions have been blocked, stalled, and pushed aside. The gun industry lobby has been the one standing in our way. This session, that all nearly changed. DFLers, every single one in the Minnesota Senate, passed a landmark gun violence prevention package. Proven policy changes in other states that have proven to reduce gun violence, including in this sweeping set of policies that advocates and survivors have fought for years. This didn't happen by accident. It happened because DFL senators showed up, did the work, listened to families and advocates, and refused to let another session go by without action. Let's talk about what was in this package, because the details matter. Universal background checks, red flag laws that allow courts to temporarily remove firearms from people who pose a danger to themselves or others, safe storage requirements for guns, keep guns out of the hands of children, and more. These are common sense gun measures that the majority of Minnesotans, regardless of party, support, and DFLers delivered them. An assault weapons ban, a high-capacity magazine ban. But there's another side of the story as well, because while Democrats were governing, Minnesota Republicans spent this session walking off the job. That's not hyperbole. Republicans hid from votes. They literally walked out of committee to avoid votes. They tried to end session early, blocking progress on gun safety, on health care, on everything Minnesotans were counting on. They spent months ducking responsibility and blocking solutions. About that gun violence prevention legislation that passed in the Senate, Lisa Damuth and House Republicans literally kept it locked in a drawer while Annunciation families came to the Capitol and begged for a vote. Those families showed up. Families from across Minnesota joined them in solidarity. DFLers sat in the chambers overnight, 36-hour sit-in, waiting for a vote to be called. Republicans packed up and went home. And here's the thing. Minnesotans noticed. People don't want grandstanding. They want governing. And that's the contrast this session laid bare. One party showed up. One party hid. One party delivered for Minnesota families. One party performed for their base while Minnesota's children continued to practice lockdown drills at school. And let's be honest about the broader context, because what's happening in Minnesota doesn't exist in a vacuum. Nationally, Trump and Republicans have made it clear that they don't think about safety or the security of working families. Remember the viral quote from last week, Trump saying he doesn't think about Americans' situation whatsoever. And we see it in their policies. No action on gun violence, cuts to our health care, cuts to education, tax breaks for the ultra-rich while the national debt skyrockets. Minnesota Republicans have taken the same playbook. They spent this session blocking progress on gun violence. They've been obstacles to the very policies Minnesotans are demanding. They choose politics over people time and time again. Meanwhile, DFL elected officials stay committed to the people they were elected to serve. They fight for gun violence prevention. The fight for gun violence prevention is not over. Our DFLers will never stop listening, and we will continue working harder than ever to keep Minnesota families safe. This session, DFL senators proved something important. When Democrats lead, we govern, we listen, we fight, and we deliver. And just this weekend, DFL representatives gave us a stunning reminder of this. Democrats show up for Minnesotans no matter what. So here's today's action. And it's a simple one. Put something positive about the DFL candidate for Minnesota House from your area. Post something about that candidate. We need to win back the House. We need your help to make sure that we are lifting up the House candidates who will actually serve the people who elect them. It doesn't have to be long. It can be a sentence, a share, a photo from an event. Just get their name out there. We need to increase our House candidates' ID and our Senate candidates' ID. Our local candidates matter, and we're not only going to win from the top of the ticket down, but we're going to win from the bottom of the ticket up in this state. And so we need your help to get their name ID up as much as possible locally, so that people understand who the option is that will actually serve them and their community. We don't have to do it. We have to do everything we can to protect our House DFLers and elect more Democrats to the House this November. And that needs to start today with something as simple as a post, share, or a conversation with a neighbor. So take 60 seconds after this call, find who your local House member is, House candidate is, and make sure that you help increase their name ID. All right, thanks everybody. We got 168 days until the November 3rd midterm election. Let's go win this thing.